We are live, and we'll now begin. Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to our second interview under SAM-AYUSH Balanced Life Interview Series. Our first interview focused on emotional wellness, where Insha and yours truly, that's me, shed light on how blocked emotions lead to physical ailments and steps people could take to release their blocked emotions. We also spoke about food and emotions and how they go hand in hand, and what people need to do to stay emotionally healthy. Today we have with us Amruta Pinjarkar, a counseling psychologist, um, who will talk about mental wellness. Mental wellness, is nothing but our ability to engage with others through a deep understanding of ourselves. Um, did you guys know that our ability to solve problems creatively is possible only when we have a deeper understanding of ourselves? Don't believe me? Well, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. But before we begin, let me introduce you all to our speaker and our facilitator for this evening. So Amruta is a passionate learner of mind and behavior. She's been learning about psychology, of the human mind, the mind-body interconnectedness, emotional health, and its impact on relationships for more than 7 years. Her personal journey has given rise to her inner calling to pursue counseling as her profession. She's done a master's in psychology and has a degree in engineering and a master's degree in labor studies, human resources. That's about Amruta. And as I mentioned earlier, this interview will be facilitated by Insha Arora, a health coach and a lifestyle revamp coach. Um, Being a true health and fitness enthusiast and a graduate from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, New York, Insha has been exposed to a variety of innovative coaching methods, practical lifestyle management techniques, and over 100 dietary theories. Drawing on her expertise, she works on helping people make positive lifestyle changes and choose health promoting ways that produce real and lasting results. She's also a partner and chief nourisher at SAM-AYUSH Holistic Wellness and founder of Insha Aurora Wellness. That's all from my end. Insha, over to you.
Thank you, Akshay. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to be able to talk to you heart to heart about emotional wellness and mental wellness. I've been meaning to do that for a long time, but I'm glad that we got to do it like this. So there are a lot of questions that I want to ask you on mental wellness. But the first thing that occurs to me is that, see, when you talk about mental wellness, everybody has a different take on it, like everybody has different definitions to share with us. So I would like to ask you, what does mental wellness mean to you?
You're asking Akshay or you're asking me? Insha?
I'm asking you, Amrita. What does mental wellness mean to you?
Yeah. So as you rightly said, yes, mental wellness mean different things to different people, but there is a common theme everywhere. And according to me, mental wellness is how comfortable you are in your own skin. And Akshay, I really like the way you define mental wellness, which is ability to engage with others through a deep understanding of ourselves. So when we say a deep understanding of ourselves, what does that mean? So I would like to share a few words on that. Like when we say that understand yourself, that means how comfortable you are and how do you understand your thoughts, your perceptions about yourself and your feelings about yourself, and thereby how do you understand your behavior and also how much aware and accepting you are of your emotions. So this is mental wellness for me.
All right, sounds good, Amrita. But one more thing that I've noticed is that even though a lot of people um, are leaning towards, mental wellness. They are aware of the fact that mental wellness is something that is extremely important, uh, but still a lot of people are not comfortable talking about mental wellness.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think people are still not so comfortable talking about mental wellness?
No. So anything mental, like the sound of it, is scary, and people are ashamed of talking about mental wellness. And that is first cause. There is a taboo when it comes to mental health issues. And also, mental wellness or mental illness or something to do with your mind is considered as weakness. That's a general prevailing thought that I have observed personally. That it is like, I'm not a weakling or I'm not a weak person, is what it is how they perceive when they feel that they have some emotional trouble. And that is the second cause, like people. And why would anyone open up about their own weaknesses to anyone for that matter? So this is the second cause. uh, Third, like being a counselor, I would like to point it out that still people come for counseling, people seek help when it comes to their issues. So there is a reason, like we all are capable of handling our mental health or mental issues. We are capable of handling our day-to-day stressors, relationship issues. But while doing that, there comes a point in our lives when we are struck with a lightning, or there is death of a loved one, or there are relationship issues which don't seem to be going. And at this point in time, we would try each and every method to come out of that situation. And when that doesn't happen, people seek outside help, people come to counselors. So I would not say, so while this is true that there is shame and fear related to mental illness, this is also true that people do later on, when their survival instinct takes over, they do seek help, they do talk about their mental wellness.
Right. Thank you. Also, Amrita, I wanted to ask you that, a lot of times people who have mental health issues, or some issues related to their mental health, um, they they don't know exactly how to deal with it. But how do you tell that someone with mental health issues requires counseling? Like, how do you tell that they've reached that stage where counseling would really help them? How do you determine that?
Hmm. So this is very specific to that particular person who is going through something. So I can suggest to someone like go and seek counseling help, but it is that person himself has to decide whether is he comfortable in talking about his issues with a stranger. Because as I said earlier, like if someone is dealing with it, that person must have tried everything under the sun so that he would feel comfortable with his issues, with his life, with himself. So only after everything, after trying everything, if he reaches at a point wherein he says like, now, okay, I need help, when that point reaches, that person would seek help. Only thing is he has to know that there is help available outside.
Makes sense. Thank you. But Amrita, how do you? So there has to be a level of comfort, right, with the
Sorry,
clients, or
I missed the first part.
yeah, sorry. So I'm saying that there has to be that a rapport that you set with the clients, right, or that level of comfort that you share with the clients. Then, how do you actually get yourself to develop that rapport with your clients, or for your clients to be comfortable, seeking counseling from you? How do you achieve that?
Yeah. So again, as I mentioned, a person would come for counseling as a last resort. And at that point in time, that person is so vulnerable and he knows that he's tried everything. And he comes with a lot of hope and he's ready to open up. So, of course, apart from the training we get in order to deal with people with such vulnerabilities, that probably makes up like 10% of the work. But a person's readiness to look at his problems from a third person point of view it itself is enough for that person to open up and be comfortable. So I would say my job is only 10%, 90% is the client's job. when he's ready to talk about his issues.
I think I absolutely agree with that. That mental readiness is really important before they approach you, and that is up to the clients to
Yeah,
to develop that kind of comfort to
yeah.
be able to approach someone for counseling for sure. All right. Acha, one thing, Amrita, that I feel that a lot of people keep asking me, and I'm pretty sure they ask Aki as well. Um, is the difference between emotional wellness and mental wellness. A lot of people are not able to understand what is the actual difference between emotional wellness and mental wellness. So, what would you say the difference between the two is? What, according to you, is the difference?
Sure. So mind is a very interesting and mysterious phenomena. We can't see mind; it is there somewhere. So let me make an attempt to explain the concept of mind using our body or body organs. So mind can be associated with two body organs. One is our brain and one is our heart. So let's talk about brain first. So brain is where we keep our memories. Brain has got certain functions: rational thinking, logical thinking, cognitive uh, cognitive cognitive functions, and brain operates in a certain way. For example, uh, driving. So if you are driving, that means your brain is fetching information from the memory store, and even muscles in our body has certain amount of memory. Like when we are driving, there is coordination, brain and hands and legs coordination. Everything is happening through that memory, and that's how brain is functioning. So brain is one of the aspect of our mind. So when something goes wrong with the functioning of brain, there is imbalance of biochemicals, uh, and at that time we seek psychiatric help. Medication is required. So there are certain illnesses like delusions, hallucination, addictions for that matter, in which we need psychiatric help in order to deal with mental illness. So that is the brain aspect of mind. The second aspect, which is the emotional aspect, is our heart. Um, so we are human beings are feeling individuals. So we are feeling a lot of things. We are operating out of our heart. We feel love growing up, or we don't feel love. So heart is again associated with our feelings and emotions. So while growing up, there are, again, just like how brain store memories, even and muscle store memories, our body, our heart, and our other organs also store memories of our emotions. So growing up, we have gone through a lot of emotional experiences. So not all of them are joyous and happy experiences to remember. There are also traumatic experiences. There are certain painful feelings and emotions we have not dealt with growing up. So where do they go? So they do get stored in our body, in our system, in our heart, in our chest. For example, how you feel fear in your stomach when you appear for an exam. Like growing up, all of us must have felt that kind of a fear. So we do feel emotions in our chest, in our heart, and also in our body. So that's how our mind is linked with our body, and this aspect, that heart aspect of our mind, is emotional wellness. So if I want to say difference, then I would say emotional wellness is a subset of mental wellness. Mental wellness is a broader umbrella. So if you are very crudely speaking, if you're not on some psychiatric medication, or you don't need any psychiatric intervention, so probably mental wellness and emotional wellness would mean one and the same.
Wow, that is so nicely explained, Amrita. I think I'm pretty sure our audience has also understood it well.
I
Like
hope
we
so.
have, Aki and I. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing this. So one more thing that I want to ask you was that, see, you remember at the beginning of this interview where we said that mental wellness is our ability to engage with others through a deep understanding of ourselves.
Hmm.
How do you suggest that we deepen understanding of ourselves? How can we achieve that according to you?
Uh, Curiosity. Are you really curious about yourself? We are very complex individuals. So our what we perceive, like we are not just our behaviors and what we say. Again, the mind, which is in our body, which we cannot show everyone, it's a complex thing. So how curious you are to understand yourself? If you do, you have that curiosity. So I was just thinking about it, and that there are certain questions that you may ask yourself, like why do I behave in a particular way, or do what are the memories or what are the traumatic experiences I had in my life, and do I really feel that I have handled them well, or does the impact of those memories is still present in my life? Another question is, how do I feel around my loved ones? Do I feel safe? Do I feel anger? Do I feel fear around my loved ones? So you can take help of these difficult emotions. Like, do you feel those? So if you have curiosity in yourself, in your own for your own mind, your own behavior, you will ask yourself certain questions. And how do you get answers? You can sit with yourself, introspect, write about your experiences. There are meditative techniques like mindfulness meditation that help you to understand yourself, your behavior, your mind in a beautiful way. That is another way. And another way which I would I would say is come and seek help from a counselor or a therapist. It is through the relationship with that therapist you will have a better understanding of your mind, yourself. That could be a way.
All right, thank you for sharing, Amrita. Very well said. You know, it definitely helps us understand how we can deepen our understanding of ourselves better. So thank you for sharing that. Um, Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you a very personal question. Yeah, I hope you're comfortable answering that. But have you personally ever experienced an attack of, let's say, fear, anxiety, or maybe even panic? And if you have, then what steps did you take to overcome that?
Yeah, sure. I have experienced an attack of fear, and that fear was fear of loneliness. And let me tell you, it was a dark feeling. It was a dark stage of my life, and there was a point in my life when I ran away from that, from feeling that feeling, and I ignored feeling that fear. But that fear then keeps knocking at your door every time you face a situation wherein the threat comes that, oh my god, I'm going to be lonely again. But yes, then very recently, what happened was again that fear kind of tried to, I felt that the fear was overwhelming. And I realized that I just had to be there for myself. So I just stayed put. And what I realized was every emotion is like a wave in the ocean, but in slow motion. So it's like it rises, and then it reaches at a peak, and then slowly it goes away. So that is true for every difficult emotion. And it is scary. And I know that no one wants to experience that scary feeling of darkness or fear or panic attack. But it is like that. And time and staying put with yourself is the best solution, is what I have observed. Just hold your hand and allow it to pass. So it's very similar to passing through a tunnel, dark tunnel. Only thing is we don't know when that tunnel ends, but it definitely ends. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So be with yourself, stay put, allow yourself some time to breathe, and things will be all right. That's how it is.
How nice. You know, it's really important to be there for yourself, and I don't think many people realize that we need to be there for ourselves, right? We need to just hang in there and just let the emotions slide, like you said. So, very well said again. Like, thank you for all
No
these.
one, no one can come to your rescue but yourself.
Absolutely,
It's that.
you need to help yourself first, right? Yeah. So, very well said, Amrita. Thank you. Okay, now one question that I always felt I've had for you is that whenever we see someone who's sad or a little low in life, we generally use words like, this person seems to be depressed or anxious very loosely. Like, we just generally use these words like, this person is depressed, or this person seems to be a little more anxious than usual. But how do you think we can differentiate between depression and anxiety? Like, what does it actually mean to you, and how can we differentiate between depression and anxiety?
Yeah. Uh, so there are two very difficult emotions to deal with: fear and anger. And depression and anxiety are products of extreme anger and extreme fear, respectively. But it is not towards anyone else, but it is towards ourselves. So if I talk about depression, then depression is an extreme anger towards oneself. So if one is that optimum level of anger that we can deal with, then depression, which is a clinical depression in which psychiatric help is required, that would be at a level of 100. And in that at that level, at extreme level, which means extreme anger towards oneself, the person is unable to get up from the bed. Like, the person has lost interest. He or she doesn't see the light of life, complete stillness of life. So anger has taken that person down completely. It's like a state of trance. It's numbness for that person. And again, like, we have to be there for that person. The person has to be there for himself when that person is going through an attack of depression. So that is one level, like extreme depression. But there, like, after a while, like I said, that wave, when that subsides, there would come a point when that person would want to talk about what it is to live the life that he has led. Slowly that person will open up. So of course, at times that person might need medication because the daily routine and his life can move on. But at the same time, it is very important for that person to open up about his life experiences. And somewhere, all the answers to his questions lie in his previous experiences. And there are painful experiences, painful emotions suppressed in his mind. So that is depression. Anxiety, on the other hand, is extreme fear. So if one is the optimum fear that we can live with, so anxiety is at level 100. So at that level, you need medication. So at that level, it's extreme worry, incessant crying, breathlessness, panic attacks. So it goes to a different level. And like, panic attack, like Akshay would know, like, this is what I've heard from Akshay. Panic attack is like a heart attack. So it is that painful. This is like mind and body is completely hitched together. And yes, probably you will need medication at that point in time. But after that subsides, then again, ask yourself those difficult questions. What are you so scared of? What is it? And this is not that this it is not particular to the present situation. This is like fear carried forward from his experiences in life. So again, that is the time you ask yourself certain questions and you sit with someone and understand your mind, your fears. Allow your emotions, give some emotions space, to some emotions in your life. Deal with that fear, and anxiety will slowly subside. It is a journey, it is a process.
Wow, you've explained it so beautifully to us. The
Yeah,
difference between depression
absolutely.
and anxiety. Because usually, like I said, these terms are used very commonly and very loosely also. And people should not be so hard on themselves, is what I feel. Like, people shouldn't feel that, okay, I am depressed in life, because sometimes you're just going through a bad phase and you can just come out of it, snap out of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, the definition really helps. Understanding what depression and anxiety actually means really helps. So thank you. Okay, one thing that I would also like to ask you is that, I feel that a lot of times people believe, even I believe, that you can only solve a problem that you're facing creatively if you understand yourself well, or if you know yourself well. What is your take on that? What do you think about that?
I also absolutely believe that if you know yourself better, you will have better ways of dealing with problems. And I would request Akshay at this point in time to share his example. Akshay, can you share? You're on mute.
Okay, let me give it a try. Um, so yeah, I think I can talk about my experience in my previous organization where I was working. Um, this I remember this was in 2012 or 2013. It was a very tough phase, personally and professionally. Um, and Professionally, because I think there was a change in my role, and a role that I'd never done before. Say let's say a role in learning and development. I come from an operations background, mainly customer service, customer experience. So someone who's from operations getting into a non-operational role. So that was the time I kind of I felt as if I was in a uncharted territory, an unstructured environment, and I started making mistakes, and I was actually put on a performance improvement plan. Um, but and yes, I did have many thoughts saying that, okay, should I just quit? Oh, let me just put down my papers. But then I was like, no, I've been here for a long time. Let's think about how we can turn around the situation. Now that's where I started working on myself. I was lucky enough to find a counselor, and she walked alongside. She helped me find who I really was. Um, and I think it took me almost because it's as you've said, Amruta, it's a journey, right? I think knowing yourself is a journey. It takes years, but once you slowly start walking on that journey, once you start peeling those layers, you understand who you really are. And it took me almost 3 to 5 years to really understand what my strengths were. And I was in a position to manage four different functions at the same time, and I was able to do it really well. This was possible only because I was able to understand what my strengths were, what my shortcomings were, and I was learning every day about myself, and those learnings then helped me, solve problems not only for myself but also for my customers, for my team. So yes, I think creative problem solving is possible. Um, it's possible once you know who you really are. So yeah, I think that's my take on it. Yes.
Yeah, even my
Yeah.
personal journey was also through counseling, introspection, a lot of introspection, confusion. So problem for me was career choice. So from engineering, then sales profession, then HR, then housewife, being a housewife, thoroughly confused. And I did sought help
Yeah.
of a counselor. So that is my
Absolutely.
journey. And I guess I am at a comfortable stage when it comes to career, absolutely clear about where I want to go. So yes, it is because of a number of years put in order to understand myself better. Thank you,
Thanks.
Akshay, for
Thanks,
sharing.
Amrita. Thanks.
Thanks
Thanks.
for sharing, both of you.
Thank you.
So I definitely got my answer. We need to truly understand ourselves before we tread on a path of improving our mental wellness. I'm sure. But Amrita, what according to you is the best way to improve anyone's mental well-being? Like, how do you think anyone can improve upon the mental well-being?
Um, as I said, there is help available everywhere. You just have to have that willingness. You would really want to improve your mental well-being. Uh, so I guess best way is, like I've already explained the steps, but best way I feel is always talk to someone, seek help from outside, improve your relationship with yourself. So I guess best way to do is how to improve your relationship with yourself. Spend time with yourself, and for that, you can either write, you can meditate, or you can go to a therapist or a wellness coach. There are ways available.
Thanks, Amrita. That makes a lot of sense. Now, before we close the session, would you like to pass on any special message to the listeners? Anything that you personally want to share with everyone?
Yeah, I would like to say that our minds are way stronger than we think they are. They're very strong. Whether they are working for you or working against you, you have to make that choice. You have to make that call and then take steps so that your minds work in your interest, not against you.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for
That's
sharing,
excellent.
Amrita. Yeah, thank you for taking out time to talk to us and to
It
our
was my
listeners.
pleasure. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
it was a really insightful session, and I'm sure
I
anybody
hope so.
who's been watching this video live or who gets to watch it later will benefit from it, no doubt.
I hope
And
so.
yeah, now over to Akshay, over to Aki.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Amruta. This was very insightful. You know,
I'm glad.
um, so it's really good to hear about how people, the steps that people can take, to focus on improving their mental health, their mental wellness, and considering the phase that we are in, or the phase that we've just come out of, mental wellness and emotional wellness. I think it is all of this. I think it's needed. So yeah, and I think all of us are focusing on the holistic part of the wellness. So I think mental wellness, be it physical wellness, emotional wellness, all of these, I think when people focus on all of these together, I think that is where we bring about that change. We bring about, or we slowly start moving towards that transformation phase. And I think that's the need of the hour, right? Thank you, Insha, for your time as well.
No problem.
And
It's
yeah,
a
let's
pleasure.
let's hope yeah let's hope that we are able to reach out to millions of people, through whatever way is possible, in helping them move towards their transformation, right? Let's see if we have any questions from people who are watching us. There are no questions as of now. I'm sure. I think your responses and the questions that Insha has asked, I think that may have definitely helped them. So yeah, I think to all those who've seen this video, thank you very much. Most probably, yes, we will be putting up this recording, through on Facebook and other social media channels. Do go through this video, and if you have um, any questions, feel free to reach out, of course, to me and Ansha. But maybe Amruta, before we sign off, maybe you may want to give your contact details, your email ID, where people may want to reach out to you for, say, counseling or mental wellness.
People can contact you.
Okay.
Welcome.
All right. So, people, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. That's on akshaym at samakshwellness.com. Yes, details. We will also put other details. Say once the recorded video is up on the social media channels. Okay, then. Thank you very much, and have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you very
And
much.
have a great weekend.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thank you, Amrita. Thank you, Aki.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Amrita.
Insha. Thank
Great
you.
session.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.